Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today I'm bringing to you two looks and a mini review on the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. Retro mini palette? You get the point. My channel, a very special welcome to you. I know I have a lot of new friends here on my channel, which is super duper exciting, but if you haven't joined the family yet, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave if you like what you see. Subscribing is 100% free. It really helps me out here on the YouTube, and it ensures that if you ring your bell, you'll be notified every single time that I upload. Let's talk about this baby here. I bought this for me. I didn't buy this to review, but I did want to share with you a couple of looks and my feelings about this palette having purchased it now. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video where I talk about whether I was able to dupe any shades out of this palette. I think you might be surprised. And with all that said, let's get into the first look. All right, let's get into this look. I think today we're going to lean a little bit more on the green side of the palette. Boom boom right here, and then maybe use this topper shade, the Chroma Crystal formula, as a topper, a little bit of a shine factor. But I am just going to lightly lay down the pink matte shade, which is called Vintage Taupe, in my transition area. And this is definitely a lot deeper on the actual eye than it looks in the pan, and I don't mind that. I actually appreciate that, and I love this sort of dusty rose shade. Next I'm gonna go ahead with this sort of greenish gray shimmer called Industrial, and I'm gonna apply that all over my lid. Definitely think you could probably create something like this with a green shimmer and then maybe like a silver, something like that over top, or mixed to create a shade like this. That is pretty. I'm gonna try and see what the texture is like with the phalange. Oh, I die. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do here is go into this middle matte shade right here called 60s. I'm going to pick it up on this very small duo fiber brush, and I'm going to pat this on the outer and the inner part of the lid, and then very softly just blend it into the crease a little bit. I don't want to bring the green up too far. I do want that little bit of a pink to peek through, so I'm just stamping this on the outer part of the lid, kind of coming in at an angle, because that's gonna keep the eye open a little bit wider that way. And then once I have most of the pigment off the brush, I'm gonna come into the inner part of the eye here, because while we want that deeper green on the inner part of the eye, we also don't want it to be quite as deep as the outer part of the eye. It's gonna close down the eye, it's gonna make it look smaller. And we're also going to be even more careful not to go up high with the green on the inner corner. See how there's just a kind of a whisper of depth there? I use the word whisper a lot. I'm not for sure what that's about. I'm gonna close my eyes because I have hooded eyes and it's easier access to my crease and keeping things down lower. So just on the edge where the lid meets the rest of the eye, I'm going to very softly blend. Alright, now with that done, I'm going to take the original fluffy brush, no additional product, and just buff those edges. For the lower lash line, I'm going to go straight into this 60s shade with a flat definer brush like this, a little square brush, and just apply this very tight up to the lower lash line on the outer third, just a wee bit. And then taking my NYX glitter glue and this little tiny lip brush, I'm going to put the tiniest amount possible of glitter glue on the very center part of the lid here. And I'm just patting this on because I don't want to pick up the green underneath. I just want to add a little bit of a sticky base for this first color, which is it's a crystal topper formula. It is Galaxia, and it's like a pink shiny shenanigans, and it has green and blue sort of sparkles, and this is going to be the halo within our halo. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't, hopefully you can see the difference. I'm also gonna spray my brush and see how that works. Yes, that was the magic right there. Okay, so I definitely think the best way to apply this Creme Crystal formula overall is sticky base, phalange. You can use a brush if that's your preference, but I feel like you really pack on the punch and really get to stick with that glitter glue when you use your finger. I think I'm going to cheat for an inner corner. I'm going to use a highlighter. The highlighter I used today is from Kosas. It's a cream highlighter. So I'm going to go into my MAC Double Gleam highlighter, which is really beautiful and new to me. One of the things I ordered when I lost my mind and the world went to the current shenanigans that we're taking part in. I feel like I want just a tiny bit more pink in the transition area, so I'm gonna pick up the original Fluffy and that shade Vintage Taupe and just kind of run it along here. Very lightly wet cat pressure so as not to bring the like gray green 60s color up any further than it already is. Alright, so this is the final look. I'm gonna pop off of here, do some liner, mascara, and a lip, and I will come back to wrap up this look. Alright, we're back, and this is the completed look. I went ahead and finished off the eyes with one of my favorites, the Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now Kohl eye pencil, and the Milk Makeup Kush mascara. I really want the full size of this, but I'm working through some others. MAC Whirl Lip Liner, as you know, a holy grail, and the Revlon Super Lustrous Shine Lipstick in the shade Glazed Mauve, or Mauve, as I'm allowed to say now. So this is the completed look, and hopefully you'll be able to see in my close-ups in natural lighting just how shiny and beautiful this is. This Creme Crystal topper called Galaxia is just so pretty. Let's see if I can show it. I don't know, it's pink, but it definitely has like a blue-green shift to it. There you go. So pretty. And I will see you for tomorrow's look. Hi guys, welcome to day 2 with the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. Do we get retro vibes from this? I do, but these are also my colors, so there's that. Today we're gonna go in a little bit of a pinky direction. I think I'm still going to use at least the matte green, but let's just see how we do. I'm going to first go ahead and fluff the shade Vintage Taupe in my transition area. All right, I'm gonna pick this up on a pinched fluffy brush. And I'm going to start this right in the outer part of the transition. Whoa, we are not starting out very well. I'm gonna press this on sort of in the crease just to sort of deposit the bulk of the pigment in the crease. Wow. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking like. I'm gonna go into this matte green shade. It's like a gray green shade, and I'm gonna put this on the very outer part of my lid, kind of in a little bit of a cat eye angled type situation, and then just feather it in a little bit toward the inner part of the lid. And this is just going to be my depth for this look, as well as I'm going to use it to define the lower lash line. Okay, I'm not loving that brush. Okay, picking up a dense domed brush instead. So I'm just really kind of buffing this out and, you know, not bringing it too high up into the crease. But I am building it up a little bit, and because, you know, I am going to layer the pink over the green a little bit. When I'm doing a darker color on the outer part of the lid, I really like to use something more dense like this, where I can just press it on to the lid and then maybe feather it in a little bit, which is what I should have done on this side. But oh, I hear the birds. Taking the same shade on like a flat definer brush, just a squared off flat brush, I want to apply this deeper shade on the outer 2/3 of the lower lash line, very tight to the lashes actually. Like I said, almost like a liner, and just a little bit to sort of define the lower lash line, just like that. Making sure to connect the upstairs with the downstairs. All right, so that's the base. I'm just going to take the original fluffy brush and the original warm taupe, no, vintage taupe shade, and just put a little bit more of that into the crease. Also just kind of blending up to the green, so there's no gap there or anything, and I do want that pink to peek out. Going into the last shade that we have not used in the palette, I'm going to pick up this really pretty pink, it's like a warm pink metallic shade called Pixie. I think this could make a really pretty highlighter or blush topper. I do want to kind of try this pink matte as sort of a blush today. I do have blush on, but I kind of want to see, you know, what we can do with what's in the palette. So I always think it's a bonus if there's shades in an eyeshadow palette that you can use as blush or highlighter or what have you. It's just, you know, if you're the type of person that does like to do that sort of thing, and I do, because who doesn't? Well, maybe just me, but who doesn't want to like extend their blush and highlighter collection? So this is layering really nicely. I do think I'm going to try it with a brush and try spraying my brush just to see if we can get a little bit more of that metallic quality from this shadow. Give her a spritz. Enjoy the scent. And starting on the inner corner, I'm going to try and build this up a little bit. That's pretty. I love pink and green together. I think that's part of why I was so attracted to this palette when I saw it. This is the first palette in a long time that I was like, when I saw it. And Samantha March calls that the double take, I think. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. If it doesn't make me have a double take, then I probably don't need it. Going into this shade right here, which is Galaxia, I believe is how you pronounce it. Also going to spray this. Yesterday I used this with glitter glue. Today I want to spray it and see how it performs like that. Again, like I said yesterday, this isn't her Chroma Crystal formula, so it is meant to be a topper. Instead of focusing this on the inner part, I'm going to try and see what it looks like sort of next to the green, because this topper shade does have like flecks of green in it. Ooh, my Lanta, I love this color. I love this palette. Spoiler alert, stay tuned for my review at the end, but I love this. This actually applies just as nice as with a glitter glue underneath. So this is what we're looking like. Holy moly, that's gorgeous. One thing, you know, that's not in here for me, and I think it's totally fine because it is a 5-pan eyeshadow palette, I don't really feel like there is an inner corner or brow bone highlight in here for me, so I'm gonna reach into a highlighter. I think I'm gonna go ahead and reach into my Smashbox Cali Contour palette and pick up this highlight right here for the inner corner. It's champagne-y, but I definitely think it has a little bit of a pink to it. So I'm just going to bring this around the tear duct and a little bit into this inner corner cavernous situation. And just speaking from experience, I wouldn't recommend that you use this color on your inner corner. It's very flaky and chunky, and I think even with spraying it, it could become uncomfortable and possibly end up in your eye if you would use that as an inner corner highlight. Now, you do you boo, but in terms of eye safety, I just wouldn't recommend it. I've gotten her Chroma Crystal formula in my eye before, and suffice it to say, I remembered not to do that again. Using the brush we used on the lid, I'm just going to take a little bit and highlight right under the brow arch. Alright, so this is the eye look as it stands now. I'm going to pop off of here, do some liner, mascara, and a lip, and we'll come back and wrap this puppy up. Alright, we are back. I finished off the eyes with my Kiko Milano double-ended eyeliner. This side is a beautiful green shade, so I did tight line with that. And I also used the Champagne shade on the waterline. And then I used my Milk Kush mascara. Love it so much. And then for lips, loving this combo. I have the MAC lip pencil in the shade Soar. It's this pretty pinky shade, just ever so slightly darker than the lip product, which is my first NARS satin lip pencil, and this is in a shade, I'll put the name on the screen. Let me know phonetically how to pronounce this if you know. Rikugan, maybe? I don't know. So let's go ahead and talk about the palette. Originally, I had intended to share with you guys some dupes for this palette because so many of us are trying not to spend our money on things like makeup right now, not knowing what tomorrow holds. We'll just put it that way. So the only shades I was able to slightly dupe are these shades right here. These two glittery, very special shades, not a chance. No way. I went through every single one of my 57 plus eyeshadow palettes, almost 60 probably, and I couldn't dupe the rest of the palette, these two special shades. So take that for what you will, but I will tell you the dupes I found. For the shade 60s, which is this beautiful matte gray-green, I found a dupe in my Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palettes, this shade right here, which would be shade number 7. Very, very similar, or not. A little bit more yellow, I guess, on that one.
And I can also say with
100% certainty that there are no dupes for the formula in my collection at all. Then going on to the pinkier matte called Vintage Taupe. It's a really pretty, like, dusty rose shade. And the dupe that I found for that is in the ColourPop You Are a Cutie palette, and it's the shade right here called First Date. A little bit darker, a little bit rosier, closest I could get, you guys, seriously. I have a lot of eyeshadow. I really thought I'd at least be able to dupe easily these 3 shades here, but it took a while. And then going into the pink metallic that we used all over the lid today, which is called Pixie. This is a pretty, like, warm pink shade. And this dupe comes pretty close, but not in finish necessarily. This is the Revolution, the Emily Edit, the Wants palette. It was kind of fun to dig this out. And the shade I'm talking about is this one right here called Cupcake. named for the family cat. And it's really a similar shade, actually, maybe just ever so slightly peachier, and definitely not the same metallic finish. So as you can see here, I actually really struggled to dupe this palette. Use that information for what you will. The other thing I wanted to do real quick is test this out as a blush. Actually, I'm gonna try and mix these two and not touch the deep green. Here we go. Oh my. This almost gives me the vibes of the new mini blush that she put out. Loving it. Yet another way you can use this palette. So here are my final first impressions. Obviously, I've done 3 looks with this palette, so I hate to be like, this is my final thing, but I am very familiar with the Natasha Denona formula, as well as I am familiar with her mini palettes. This is the Mini Star palette, and you'll see that mine is quite abused. I love this palette. You will get so many more looks than what you would think out of these 5-pan palettes. And that's what I like about these. Number one, it's an edited palette, which I love. I love that strong snap closure there. I love the edited color story because it kind of takes some of the guesswork out of it, especially if you're getting ready in any type of a hurry.
The formula on this is just as
The formula on this is just as good and very consistent with her previous palettes, both full size and mini, and I just have nothing bad to say about this at this point in time. I do think it's important that you know that this shade Galaxia, which is a duochrome, is actually in her Chroma Crystal formula, which is a sheer formula, which is flaky and a little bit glittery, so you are going to want to apply it wet or with a finger over a sticky base. That's just my recommendation. That's how I prefer to use that formula from her. These are her creamy matte formula. Both Industrial and Pixie are in her metallic formula, and like I said, very consistent with other palettes that I've tried from her. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 quick looks with this palette. Remember, as always, I am not encouraging you to go out and purchase this palette, especially in the time that we're in right now. But I did want to bring this information to you. I purchased this palette 100% for myselfie, but I couldn't not review it on my channel. Well, here's my review. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I think if you were thinking about purchasing this palette, that you wouldn't be disappointed in the color story or the formula. This does have my stamp of approval. I don't think that that's going to change. I just love this. I kind of want more of her minis. The one specifically I want is the Glam Mini. Gorgeous. So that's all I have for you today. I want to thank each and every one of you for spending part of your day here with me today. I always appreciate each and every single one of you. Let me know down below which of the 2 looks, the green or the pink, was your favorite. And I hope if you're wearing makeup right now, and I hope you are, that all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. And I will see you in my next video soon.